New Zealand and New York City are on opposite sides of the world, but they do have some things in common, including the award-winning cooking of Chef Matt Lambert. After making his mark in Kiwi and Hobbitland, Lambert arrived here in 2006 and worked at some of the city's top restaurants before striking out on his own.
And strike downtown Manhattan restaurant, the Musket Room, showcases his modern New Zealand cooking and earned a coveted Michelin star just 4 months after it opened. Chef Matt Lambert, welcome to the dish.
Thank you. Couldn't think of a better place to be.
Let me ask you about your star first, because that must have been pretty exciting to get a star that quickly.
Yeah, it was a sort of long life goal of mine, so to achieve that was pretty amazing, you know. I definitely cried a little bit.
You cried?
Now, I had read, though, that you didn't even know you were being judged because the critics had sort of ignored the restaurant.
Yeah, we kind of flew under the radar. And that's kind of the best place to be, really, isn't it?
Yeah, worked out all right.
Walk us through what we have here, because it's a beautiful, colorful spread.
Right, so just an homage to summer, I guess. So we have some Ora King salmon. It's been gently roasted, sautéed kale, because everybody loves some kale, you know, with some samphire or sea beans, roasted garlic, barbecue carrots, because that's something that sort of I enjoy.
Right.
And, of course, pavlova. Sort of traditional dish of New Zealand that you have at the table every birthday, public holiday, you name it.
One critic called your restaurant a love letter to New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that.
Now, you operate your restaurant, your partner is your general manager, who is your wife.
That's correct.
How does that work out?
That works great, yeah. Yep, it's pretty fun.
I'm sure she told you to say that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, she did.
Tell us a little bit about your background, though, because you wanted to start cooking when you were just 11.
Yeah, I sort of figured at a young age that this is something that I enjoy doing, mainly from baking with my mother and my grandmother.
Right.
So I approached the local restaurant when I was 11 to do an apprenticeship, and they sort of said, sure, but, you know, you're way too young. And I started washing dishes there when I was 14.
Wow.
And then went on from there, yeah.
Did I read you actually opened a cafe with your mother?
That's right. I had a goal to have a restaurant by the time I was 21, which is pretty much blind ambition. But so we did that, and then I started learning after that.
Tell us about Kickstarter, because you are the first chef that we've had that actually used crowdsourcing to get yourself up and going.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty awesome resource available to anyone. And obviously opening a restaurant in New York City is a pretty tough order for anyone. So, you know, any help you can get is good help.
Right. And how quickly did it work for you?
We set it up for a certain period of time, I believe, like 4 weeks, and it went really well. We sort of exceeded what we were trying to do. It's just great because you get support early and people are able to be part of something that, you know, I think turned out to be pretty special, you know.
When Anthony was mentioning that you said that critics say this is really a love letter to New Zealand, how did where you grow up really influence the kind of chef that you are?
Oh, super heavily, you know, like growing up, sort of food was a big part of everything, from, you know, picking berries with my mother, shelling beans on the back porch, sort of fishing all the time, neighbors giving you fish that they've got on the weekend, and it's just it's a big part of life, you know what I mean? And so, you know, becoming a chef and being able to add that stuff later when you have some technique behind it is fun, because you have, you know, things behind it that aren't just, I cooked a salmon, or, you know what I mean? Like, I've actually, you know, been to the place where that salmon comes from and love it, you know what I mean? So
and you actually have dreams of opening a restaurant in New Zealand as well, right?
That would be fantastic, yeah. Obviously, if you're from somewhere, you know, I love where I'm from, and it's awesome to be able to represent it in the greatest city in the world, so to be able to do it where I'm from would also be great, you know.
The current restaurant has a backyard garden, which must be so wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So actually quite a few of the herbs and flowers that are on the dishes today I cut this morning on my way here.
Oh, very cool.
And this is a New Zealand beer we're drinking as well?
Yep, that's an American-style IPA produced in New Zealand with New Zealand hops from a company called 8 Wire. It's pretty cool stuff. Very, very sort of artisanal beer movement in New Zealand. There's a lot of really interesting things coming from there.
That's a really good beer. You're going to like that one.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and hand this dish over to you and ask you, as you sign it, if you could have this meal with any person, past or present, who would that person be?
I would say Coach John Wooden.
Ha! What an interesting choice.
Yeah, he's just a very inspirational person, and I think you'd really benefit from having dinner with him.
Chef Matt Lambert, thank you so much.
Awesome.
And for more on Matt Lambert and the dish, head to our website at CBS This Morning.
Up next in our Saturday session, wild